Do you sometimes find it annoying and frustrating hearing people talk about your relationship when they're not the ones in it? Society will always have an opinion even when you don't ask for it. He's older, she's younger, she's older, he's younger. Despite the fact that the world is evolving and people do have a right to live their lives the way they please, it seems younger men and women who happen to want to court older men and women who want to do the opposite, can't seem to escape people's harsh criticism of their relationships, even though in our African setting, it is not something that is new specifically when it comes to younger women marrying older men. Note, I'm not talking about child marriage, which is something that should be fought against. Should age matter when you're courting someone? This is our topic for today. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are in this world. You're welcome to Golda's Haven. My name is Golda Abba Dai. Thank you for clicking on that play button. It's been a while, do forgive me. I took a little break because of my final year, but I'm back. My guest for today is Dr. Lawrence Boachi, who is a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana from the Department of the Study of Religions. From 1992 to 1995, he obtained a BA in philosophy, graduated magna cum laude from the University of the Holy Cross, the School of Philosophy, Rome, Italy. From 1996 to 1999, he again obtained a BA in theology, again graduated magna cum laude from the University of the Holy Cross, the School of Theology, Rome, Italy. In 2003 to 2005, he obtained an MPhil in philosophy, graduated magna cum laude from the field of ethics from the University of the Holy Cross, the School of Philosophy, Rome, Italy. His thesis was titled The Ethics of Peace and War in the Philosophy of Aristotle and Thomas Aquinas. From 2005 to 2008, he obtained a PhD in philosophy, graduated magna cum laude from the field of ethics and metaphysics from the University of the Holy Cross, the School of Philosophy, Rome, Italy. His dissertation was titled Peace Building, the Person, the Community, and Authority, a Contemporary Thomistic Approach. In 2008-2009, he obtained a National Teaching Certificate from the Texas Teaching Fellows Program, Dallas, Mesquite District, Texas, USA. In 2015 to 2017, he obtained a postgraduate certificate in academic practice from Lancaster University, Lancaster, United Kingdom, and their thesis was titled Indigenous Knowledge, an Essential Part of Inclusivity and Diversity in Education and Sustainable Development in Ghana. He's the author of a number of books such as Existentialism, A Close Analysis and New Perspective, Educating the Person, Classic Concepts and New Perspectives, The Quest for Peace in Ancient Philosophy, Peace Building, the Person, the Community, and Authority, a Contemporary Thomistic Approach. He has edited books and conducted book reviews. His research interests include philosophy, religion, and culture relating to contemporary issues of human sciences and human development, specifically using interdisciplinary approach to research into African epistemology and its impact on change and development. The list goes on and on, so I'll stop here. Dr. Lawrence, thank you for taking the time to be here today.
Thank you.
You're welcome to Golda's Haven.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so our topic for today, like I said, is should age matter when you are courting someone? My first question for you is, should you care about society's opinion about your relationship? I'm asking this question because on conducting the research on the topic, I found this article on theconversation.com, and I'm quoting. It said studies have shown that partners with more than a 10-year gap in age experience social disapproval. So should you really care what people, society thinks about your relationship, especially if there's quite an age gap?
It's a very interesting question, and I will take it from two different perspectives. The first perspective is that when we talk within the African context, then it becomes very problematic and it needs to be discussed. Because in Africa, when we are getting into marriage, one of the fundamental issues is the ability to be able to have children. And as we all know, especially in relation to women, for example, the idea of age is very important in this scenario. And that is why I think from a cultural point of view, age becomes very vital when it comes to choosing a partner from our point of view. So society will have something to say, definitely, from the family.
Okay.
And that is something that we need to look at cautiously. Men can continue to reproduce, towards the latter part of their age, 60 plus, they can still have children. But when it comes into the situation of women, it's the other way around. Therefore, when a woman doesn't go into marriage and she achieves the age of 40 plus and she's still not very much prepared for it, it becomes very problematic. And that is when she marries a younger person. The family of the male, of the man, will begin to, because can she actually bear you children? Yeah. So this is why I'm saying from the cultural point of view, it becomes a problem. And as you know, Africans or Ghanaians, or I come down to my own tribe, which is the Akan or the Ashantis, whereas marriage is not individualistic, it's also communitarian. Okay. Therefore, marriage becomes something of a community, but not of the individual. Yeah, so that is our context, whereby whatever you do, you need approval, you need people to support you.
True.
So it is very important to listen to the community when it comes into this situation. And that is where in some families, the approval or disapproval may not be what you really want. Okay. It's about what the family wants. When you go back into our history, you realize that in the olden days, when a man sees a woman that he wants to get into, he comes home and talks to his uncles or someone, another person in his family. Say, go and check. And among the accounts, for example, we look at the background of the family. Is there any kind of madness? Is there any kind of a disease that may become a problem? And this background knowledge is very, very important. And that is why they would stop you from marrying some specific kinds of people, all right, including the age gap or whatever be the case. And so that's why it becomes very communitarian. So when you are marrying somebody in a cultural context whereby the age gap is very significantly very wide, then it becomes a problem. It's a social factor. And you can blame the people or you may not blame the people, but some of the factors that leads to divorce and separation and breaking of marriages is the inability of a partner not being able to have children, can actually impregnate or can actually have children. And these are some of the factors that you have to come across. Therefore, the reason why age becomes very important is based on this cultural dynamic in our society. But in contemporary these days, we are in a different era whereby the idea of liberty, individualism.
Because I was about to ask when you said that, what if, they don't really want children? Maybe she's 50 something, can't have children. He's 20 something, 30 years, he can have children, but he doesn't really care because he's in love. Do you think they should still care about,
Yeah, you see, the reason is because when, for example, the woman is 50 plus and the man is 25, 26, you realize that still the family will say that, okay, go ahead and maybe marry her, but
you have to have children.
And that can bring a lot of problems. Then you realize that the man will go and have kids with another woman or another woman.
Then
another woman outside somewhere. Then those people will have access to him. And this can rock the pace of the marriage to some large extent. And I think these are the reasons why sometimes people talk about the idea that age difference should be very important. It's true that sometimes both of you could be very young, but still, because of medical issues,
you can't have
kids. But at least that is something that it can be approved, and then eventually there will be a possibility. So even some women will tell their husband that, yes, this is my position now, but you can go ahead and have that kind of situation. That is much more approved initially. But when they realize that the woman is old or an elderly woman, visibly standing in front of the family, and she's elderly, then that kind of resistance will come. And it comes, and sometimes, whether you like it or not, it affects you. It affects the way you think. It affects your relationship with that particular woman. And that is where, from the cultural point of view, this issue of age gap, can become problematic in our society. But as I was also about to say, on the other side, where individualism the idea of being liberal. It's also seeping into our culture. People have the right to do whatever they want to do, but people are beginning to, change their mindset. They are changing their trajectory about family and how to live their lives. So from that angle, sometimes it's about love, it's about what you feel about the person. And I'll always go for that. That it doesn't really matter when two people love each other and they want to live their lives. As long as they are committed to each other, I think you should be able to give them a chance to actually at least try and see how it goes. And that is where I will start. So we need to take it from these 2 points of view. From the cultural point of view, which is communitarian, society's expectations are very important, whereby these things can be a problem. Then from the individual point of view, modern society, where people are living their lives, this cosmopolitan lifestyle, whereby you don't even have any rapport with your family members in the village. Therefore, in that situation, you can actually, do what you want and be free and be happy, and that can also be part of it. And these are the two things, but we have to also to look at it from the cultural point of view. It's more interesting in the sense that you marry not because you want to. It's a societal obligation. Therefore, whatever you do, you have to think about the society as well. The children belong to the society, belongs to the village, belongs to the people. Therefore, whatever you are doing, society has a role to play in it. If it's not so, then why don't you, only the two of you, go and do the marriage? Because you look at our traditional marriages, both families come together. And they come and you hear them giving you advices from the man's point of view, his family, and for her family as well. You can see marriage is also meant to bring together families. It's about unity and societal bonding as well. And these things are things that you cannot do away with. It's a beautiful aspect of our culture. Therefore, based on these issues, it actually becomes a problem when the gap is so wide, when you can see visibly somebody is fading away, the other one is so young, and people begin to raise questions and that kind of thing. So marriage from the culture point of view is not for the individual, it's also for the society.
So you have to care about what society thinks about your relationship, either in the contemporary world or in our culture.
How to look at it. And that is very, very, very important from that point of view. But on the other side, we are in a modern society, things are changing. Gender is becoming an interesting area. Feminism is becoming something also interesting. They are all seeping into our lifestyles.
True.
And because of those things that we are talking about now, people are
living their lives the way that they want to.
So they want to be happy. And I think they also have the right to be happy. People have the right to be happy.
They do.
You don't need always to get approval from society. Sometimes society can sway you to an extreme end that you will not actually enjoy. Therefore, you sacrifice your personal happiness for whatever you don't think will help you. So these are the dynamics that we play with. It's not very clear cut in the answers that we can give on this issue.
Okay, so our second question. Do you see it as normal for an older man or woman, or the opposite, to want to be with each other? Personally, I see that in our time today, old may even be relative for people. Age-wise, say, for example, a 55-year-old man, is in love with a 25-year-old. You see that for some 25-year-old, he's very old. But for a particular 25-year-old, it's an okay age and they don't seem to have a problem with it and they do want to be with that man. Do you think there's a problem with that, or do you think it's normal?
You see, the idea is that some women, I don't want to say all women, some women become mature very early. And if you look at it from that point of view, some ladies at the age of 25, they are thinking, their way of life, they live their lives until they are 40 years old. And I think based on that, sometimes it depends upon the mental capacity, the individual's own inclinations about life and his or her understanding of what he or she is doing. These things are very, very important. So one 25-year-old may find a 55-year-old man attractive and can live with him and can have a meaningful life. I've seen it before. Some may not ever be able to.
It won't make sense
to have that kind of sense out of that as well. Apart from that also, we have this, in contemporary times, people talk about masculinity. And the idea that men these days don't mature very early. I know I do seminars on masculinity studies and that sort of thing, so I know a lot about this, whereby you see that men these days, some men are seen not to be matured enough.
Okay.
Very early. So you could see that when we talk about matured men, 45, 60, 50 going, then you can say this man is
mature for people. Okay.
Yeah, and also the idea of stability. Most men, because of economic situations, men get stabilized 40 years plus when they can get a good job. And all of. Therefore, sometimes in Africa or in Ghana, when you want a woman is ready to marry, she will have to look and find he has a house, he has a good job. And from that point of view, and I know that women always desire stability. Very important for every woman who wants to get into marriage, And that becomes one of the reasons why you are seeing maybe a bit of this becoming very common in society.
Yeah, I was about to ask the question that aren't young men becoming, if we're talking about stability, then I think that most young men now, by the age of maybe 28, 29 have jobs, some are entrepreneurs, some are making money, they are ready to build their life.
Yeah.
So are they not maturing or becoming, what women want, or that will still
because you see, it's very, the number of men at the age of 25, 26 who have actually arrived, I'll use the word arrived,
and not
comparatively in Ghana today is very limited. And that is one of the things that you see. It's not very common. Yeah, young guys are doing well. Some of them are very forceful, excuse me, and because of that, they are doing their best. But even apart from them having good jobs, when you meet them one-on-one basis,
personality,
maturity level, a lot of them seem to be a little bit, lacking behind in their maturity level. And because of that, women will find them maybe attractive, beautiful, handsome, but can they be
build life?
Talk about Berryman. That is something which you have to look at. That is where it goes, And that is why I think a lot of the younger ladies who are prepared for marriage may have to look up a little bit for somebody in that level, whereby they can actually have a meaningful life, they can understand them, they can actually have stability at home and be able to live a good life as well. And that is why sometimes you see that gap coming up very frequently in our society these days as well. So that can also be a part of it as well. Therefore, age limits, the gap is becoming rampant somehow.
It is, because now you see a lot of young men, young women dating much older people.
That is because of the idea that I think women, biologically and naturally, women mature
faster than men.
Therefore, for them to get somebody who is a little bit in their level of understanding, it may have to be the
someone who's a bit older.
A little bit. And that is why I think it's becoming so. And I think in my own research, I've done some work, I've done some publications, I've done conferences, and I can also testify to the fact that it's true. Masculine ideology, masculinity, people who seem to be called men. You can see that the idea of manhood is diminishing.
It's quite different from what's the olden days.
And I think it's also due to civilization, modernization, whereby, and also the idea of gender equality, where feminism is rising. Therefore, these things, they clash, and men would like to maybe sit back a little bit and see what the other, human beings do that kind of way. So you can see that there is a bit of slowing down of the manhood maturity issue, and because of that, it seems like a lot of men or younger men need. That is why this organization that I'm working on, it makes it very important that how can men reclaim their manhood, And I look at it from three aspects, which is a man should be a provider, a protector, and a lover. How can men continue to be providing for their families? How can they also be protecting their families? And how can they also love their families? And these three functions are very powerful and very, very deep and very, very important. And maybe because of the way we are training our children, these things, they are not readily available to convey these functions in their 20s. So if they go into their 20s or even to their 40s. If they are not even careful in their early 50s, when they see the clarity of it all.
So do you think that one of the things that is making maybe men not mature the way that they should or draw back a bit is because of, feminism and, like you said, gender equality? Do you think it's a contributing factor? That's why, most men are just sitting down, she wants to, be equal, she wants us to do this, she wants to do that. Well, let me just
Yeah, I think because I think men who don't embrace feminism can also be seen as cowards, because I think feminism is something that is the same. Women have to find their footing. Women have to find their space. And it is true that the space has to be shared. And I think the idea of chauvinistic world is gradually dwindling away, and because of that, women are also rising up to the level to the table. And it is true that maybe because women are rising, maybe women are looking for opportunities, it can also affect the other sex, whereby they said, okay, if you're taking control, then let us also relax a little bit and see how it goes. So it could be psychological, it could be social norms and factors, so that can also. And also, I think modernization has contributed a lot to this. In the olden days, men have to go out and hunt and gather and bring to their families.
Now women are also.
You have white collar, blue collar jobs. You cannot sit in the office and do the same job and earn higher income. So why do I have to sit whilst you go? There's no more. Yeah, I'm hunting and gathering, but in a different perspective. Today.
It's not about maybe Fiona Miyere. She's cooked, she's done this, she's waiting. Those dynamics are changing.
So men may have to are stepping back also and learning certain roles that were ascribed to
just men. Okay,
and that is, and we may look at it as weakness, or we can also look at it as accommodating and also a strength of men. That men can also become bit, feminist in their own way, whereby you take part of the role. Why can't you cook? Is there anything that makes man so anti going to the kitchen, makes them so much afraid to enter into the kitchen? And we realize that it's not a problem. Yeah, you may not be able to breastfeed, but can't you also babysit? It's possible to babysit. Therefore, I think we are stretching the role of men and women. Masculinity and feminism, these two clash, and when they clash, they open up the space for us to be able to relate with each other and much more. So it could be a new era, and we need to look at it in a positive way, that it doesn't become a negativity, but also we all learn and reallocate and share whatever we have.
So you said something in your answer. You said maybe why women choose mature men is because maybe they mature early. Maybe at 25, their thinking is a bit like maybe someone is 30 or 14, so they look for those kind of qualities in a mature man. What about younger men who go for older women? Are they looking for the same kind of thing? Like, she's a mature woman, she's stable. What is it that makes maybe a 25-year-old man want to be with a woman who's 45 or 50?
Yeah, you see, sometimes it's also the same thing. I know some men who say they want older women.
Okay.
And I think they also see some men too would like to have a peace of mind.
Okay. Drama. Is that what young women bring?
These days, some men think the women are the drama queens. They are always
pressure with feminism and modernity. I work, and
For some men would like to have an experienced woman. Some say old wine even tastes better. And because of that, that is also bringing in a new perspective about it as well. But there is always a bit of a problem when it's a younger man. Because men and our testosterone and our desire to explore.
Sometimes so if you go for
no matter how much the love is there, it can become a problem whereby he may have to explore other areas as well, and that is what it is. And so you see few cases in that scenario.
Okay.
But in the other way around,
it's a lot.
It gets a lot whereby women, after 1 or 2 children, the woman is settled and is able to become a wife, is able to have a proper family lifestyle with their husbands. And the men who are also advancing it can also actually be at home also, because at that level the maturity is high and he knows his duties, his responsibilities as a husband. And that gives them also the peace of mind at home. Therefore, but it's true that it's more, there's a more of disapproval and eyebrows are raised when the man is younger, because that is the problem that normally comes up. But I think it's also possible. There have been so many cases. If you look at the French president, Macron married who was way older than him, and they've had a successful marriage as far as we know. And that is the point. There have been some instances whereby young men have been able to marry elderly women, and they've been able to live together in peace and in harmony. And I think these things, the couple may have to be stronger
to survive.
In their own way, because society will talk.
Yes,
so society talking, and that can also bring a problem.
Okay, Dr. Lawrence, so my last but one question. Would you not be upset if your 18-year-old, came home, told you they're in love with the 30-year-old and they want to be with them? As a parent, what would be your reaction? Yeah.
For me, I have my plan. My daughter should be able to have a certain level of education. That is for me the most important thing.
Okay.
And the way I want to raise my daughter, I have a son, but I'm hoping to get a daughter. But give her all that she needs. When the maturity level is there, she has accomplished her educations and everything as well. That is good enough for me. And in the future, if I become maybe the father who would like to give his daughter away to marriage, I will look for a man. I will approve a man who has potential, because a man who knows what he is doing, a man who has the ability to take care of his home. For me, these are very, very important. I will never come between my daughter and the man she wants to live with, because sometimes it can be a problem. Okay, and that is what it is. And therefore, I classify myself as a modern person, and these things I would always respect, as long as she has attained that maturity. She has accomplished her duty and responsibilities as a person in the area of education and other areas in society. I think 18, at that time she will still be maybe finishing her first degree or something, which I will not be able to agree.
With.
At least my daughter should have a
much
master's degree before she can make that decision. That's something that I will have to come in contact with. Have to accept that sort of situation. And if she's able to do that and she comes with a man that she thinks she wants to spend the rest of her life with, and the man, assessed by the family, gets to know him very well, I think I wouldn't have any issue with that. Because I want her to be happy. It's all about her personal happiness, her ability to enjoy her companion and be able to have a family that she wants to have. And I think that would be enough for me. Therefore, I will not stand between her and her future lover or her future husband, as long as both of them are happy. I think that is fine with me.
Okay, so for you, Dr. Lawrence, so age is something that you should consider before dating someone?
Yeah, age is very important, but for dating, yes, but you see there's a difference between dating and marriage. When it goes into marriage, the discussion will change.
Okay.
But dating, if it's dating just because you want the money, because it's a sugar daddy,
those things are not important. Okay.
Yes, I disapprove.
Courting into marriage is.
But if it's something about marriage in the future, then I think it is something that you have to also understand that. Listen, there's one thing about society is whatever you do, people will talk, especially here in this part of the world. Whatever you do, people will talk. If you marry your pair, they will talk. You marry
older, younger, whatever.
The most important thing is that the both of you, there's much love and respect. Okay. For me, respect is much more important for me than just love. Respect in a relationship for me is very, very, very important. When he respects you, he will not abuse you.
True.
He respects you. He will tell you the truth. When he respects you, he respects himself, and he will not cheat. He's not going to cheat because of you. He's not going to cheat because he respects himself.
Okay.
Therefore, he will not just do those sort of things. So respect for me is number one. Then two is love. Then the other thing will come as well. But the contemporary idea in Ghana today is sikakakra or dokakra, which I disapprove. I don't think it doesn't make sense to me at all. We should begin to rethink it through and see that I want to see a man who respects my daughter. And I know how to find out.
Okay.
And if you touch her, I will make sure I do. Yeah. So for me, that is one thing I will seek in a man. And men have to respect women. And with that, women would always give their best. That is one thing I've come to learn about relationships. Therefore, age, yes, but the most important thing is not about the age. The most important is about how much you respect each other. And if there's so much respect and understanding, I think you can do a lot together as a family. And that is what I think I would like to look out for.
Okay, so respect is quite a broad topic. So you think we should also focus on things like having common interests, whether or not we're comfortable around that person's friends and acquaintances, I like, value, do they value your opinions and input? Despite the age gap, do they treat you like, someone they can build a life with, or, they treat you like a child? Can you have honest conversations? Are you friends despite the
respect
difference?
Covers all.
Okay.
When somebody respects you,
all these
he or
things.
she respects your pastime.
Okay.
He or she respects your space.
Okay.
He or she respects your culture. He or he respects your values.
Everything.
He or she respects your friends. He or she respects your ideas and your vision and what you want to do in this world. And he will support you. When somebody respects you,
all these
very,
things.
very broad.
Okay.
And I think it overrides even just love. Love can be very, very deceptive.
True.
It's something that crazy. It goes through the mind and one day it just crashes.
Okay.
But when there is respect in a relationship, it encompasses all these things. And that is what we have to look for. And unfortunately, especially our young ladies in Ghana, some have lost self-respect.
True.
And if you're a woman,
True.
you don't have self-respect, no man will respect you. So that is one thing we should teach our daughters. Have self-respect. Look at yourself. Have that image of yourself as somebody who has a sort of ideal mentality of what it is, in your own life. Believe in yourself. And whoever will come into your life, he doesn't respect you, please don't give way to that particular person. It's rather to remain poor than to be rich and be disrespected and be, walked over in your marriage. And one thing that I think we should begin to. So I will take it from that point of view. And if it's not there, we try to learn how to respect him. And that is where it all begins.
All right. So every human being has things that they look out for to determine whether or not to be with someone. And for some, one of the things is an older or a younger person. And by a younger person, I mean someone above 18 years and is an adult. And yes, maybe that is not your cup of tea, so you may not agree with it or even understand it. But people can genuinely fall in love with who they fall in love with. And you're going to have to respect that. Don't just criticize people because you can. Show people the same grace you would want them to show you if the roles were reversed. My name is Golda Abadahi, and this has been Golda's Haven. Thank you so much for this enlightening conversation, Dr. Lawrence. And thank you too for listening.
Thank you very much.
Toodles.
Bye.